All right, guys. Today is a very special episode. I have a very special guest. He's my first series regular actor. I want to welcome Lenny Thomas, who's recurring. He's a series regular on the hit Tyler Perry show Ruthless. And welcome, man. Happy to have you
Hey,
here. Let's start with some context,
yeah,
right? So, how long have you been acting until now? How many years have you been acting?
17, I'd say. I'm 34 years old. I caught the bug when I was 17 in high school, a high school play called Take a Giant Step. And I took it so seriously, much to the dismay of my classmates because they were fooling around a lot of the time. And I would just be so stern and strict with them because I'm like, I want this to be good. I want this to be good. And then after the play, my English teacher pulled me to the side, was like, you should really consider pursuing this because you were the only one up there who was dialed in. And I was like, I don't know what you mean. What does that mean? And it just took off from there. I just kept following what people saw in me and believed in me and instilled in me because I was like, I don't know, I'm good at something. What? You know what I mean? Yeah,
Okay. So 17 years of actually
17 years.
being an actor. Okay. So during
Yeah.
these 17 years and before you got the audition and eventually booked Ruthless, right before that, you had, I
Mhm.
think I checked you out, pretty good resume, decent resume, I would say.
Yeah.
You had, correct me if I'm wrong, four co-stars, one
Yeah.
guest star, and one guest star recurring. Did I get that right?
The recurring guest star didn't happen until now, until
Okay.
like
So
the
let's just,
oval. Yeah.
okay, makes sense. Okay,
Yeah.
congrats by the way on that too. Uh,
Appreciate you, bro.
so you had four co-stars and a guest star before you got the
Yeah.
series regular audition. Okay.
Yeah. And that's
Um,
just TV stuff. That's not the other project. Cause I was always in some kind of project and film has been the majority and theater before the pandemic, obviously. And that's what I was trained in, theater. That's where I got my base. That's what I feel like is one of the strongest keys to my success is that I had theater training. But yeah, oh my gosh. So for TV, like 5 roles, but for like film, like 15, you know what I mean? Just a bunch. Things
yeah,
that won't even come out because that's how film could be sometimes,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. You've done a
Yeah.
lot of independent work as well. I mean, you've been
Oh yeah.
doing a lot of stuff for 17 years, theater work, and then you
Yeah.
got these network bookings, co-stars and guest star. Um,
Yeah.
so obviously you got a good resume. Obviously, from all this, you have a good reel
Hmm.
and you have good headshots. I'm just talking about materials in general, that you got it all,
Yeah.
you have it all. In terms of reps, did you have a manager and an agent, or what was that
I
like?
started with the manager.
Okay.
Um, and that was the first, at least it wasn't my first rep. My first rep was an agent that it just didn't work out. They couldn't get me in
Yeah.
auditions. Actors, if you have an agent and you're not getting auditions, you don't have an agent. Just letting you know, like business wise, they're supposed to work for you. If you don't get any auditions at all, they're not really your agent. It took me years to learn that. But anyway, my first rep that actually brought stuff to the table was a manager. And that was how I landed my first co-star role in Falling Water. And it was like a month after signing with them. It was like, oh, I was ready. Ooh, I knew I was ready.
So you obviously had an agent and a manager.
Yeah.
First a manager and then an agent. Got it. Okay, so you got all this. So before you got the audition for Ruthless,
Hmm.
the series regular audition, did you have any other series regular auditions before that?
I had, I think 4, right? And it was from my agent. My manager, actually no, I think I might have had 6, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. My manager at the time, she wasn't really as useful as she wasn't receptive to what my goals were, where I wanted my career to go. And that's another thing actors need to keep in mind. Like, this is your career. Regardless of who your agents or managers are, you need to have a relationship with them where they are either on board with what you're doing or do what you are telling them to do. You pay them. They work for you. I know there's a lot of egotistical people in this game who make it seem like it's another way, and that and you want representation so bad that you'll put yourself in a silly situation like I did, where you're not getting auditions for 2 straight years. You know what I mean? You have the power, the ball's in your court, and don't be egotistical with it, but keep that in mind. Like they're there to work for you. So I tried to get my manager to set me up with my agent. She never would respond to any of the requests I had, and I'm like, am I doing something wrong? Is it me? You know, and it's not me. It's this is how she was running her agency. She was acting as if it was she was an agent, and pretty much letting her assistants and associates do all the work and then collecting all the money. Is what it is. She got me my first start. I'm not mad at her or at all, but I'm just saying, like, for the kind of partnership I want, I need more connectivity. I need more synchronicity. I need you to be on the same page as me. I need you to dream with me. Otherwise, what am I doing this for? I'm not in the game for a quick buck. I'm not in the game for fame. Screw fame. You know what I mean? Fame is whack. Money comes and goes. Like, I want to leave a legacy that outlives me. That's number one. And then I want to free other actors when I get the opportunity to, right? So I ended up having to drop my manager, actually, because like I just got tired of not getting any responses towards like my goals. Like if you share your goal with your rep and they're like, it's crickets, that's a giant red flag. That's like, wait a second, this is my life here. It's my livelihood. What, you know, the least you can do is respond. So, what you call it? When I signed with the agent that set up the Ruthless audition, I dropped my manager. I was like, first of all, I'm not trying to give away 25% of the work, 25% of my money before I even get it. Because now, you know, 15% goes to your manager, 10% goes to your agent. And I'm kind of tired of co-stars at this point. Because I'm like, after 4 or 5, I think you should try to level yourself up.
You know what I mean? You got to slowly move up. Yeah, you got to say no to the smaller ones eventually after a certain point, you know, so you're going to attract the bigger ones and so on.
Yeah, and also that's the game, though, that you're ready to play, that you see yourself a certain way, and people want to see you push for stuff. Like if you want more, you have to show that you want more. You can't wait and be like, well, I hope someone sees this greatness in me. No, you have to take that. You have to go and get it. You know what I mean?
People have this mindset, you know, some people give this advice, which I don't prefer, because who are you to tell me just because it took you 10 years doesn't mean it's going to take me 10 years. It depends, you know what I mean? Everybody says, oh, it's going to take 10 years for you to book. No, I mean, it can happen anytime, man. Like you want it, right? Everyone wants it. Yeah, exactly. Maybe it took you. Yeah. Yeah. So it's different for everyone.
Yeah.
I would never say that to anybody.
You have there's space for everyone in this.
Yeah.
There's no black or white. Everything is gray, shades of gray. Everything in this game. Everything. So what works for this person is not going to work for that person. Everything needs to be taken with a grain of salt, and your time is your time. Consider yourself like a cake. You put that thing in the oven, and it takes the time it takes for it to form itself. If you take it out too soon, it's going to collapse on itself. That's a beautiful analogy for an actor. Whatever the time it takes is the time it takes, right? You can't rush a thing, and you can't base it off of somebody else's success or failures. You cannot. It's not fair to you.
Yeah, I mean, you look at you. You have 4 co-stars and a guest star, and then you have booked your series regular. I know some people who have like 6 guest stars and 10 co-stars, no series regular. So it depends. Everybody's journey is different. So
exactly. It was 4 years ago I started auditioning for television. 4 years ago, and 4 years later I'm a series regular. Like that's my.
I've been keeping tabs on you. I've been watching your journey. Yeah, I've been watching your journey, and it was very interesting. And when I found out about Ruthless, I'm like, oh, this is so, you know, instead of, I was motivated. Oh, look at him. He did it. He did it with a couple of co-stars.
That's what's up.
That's, you know, that is exactly, that's what you take from this person. And then it's the same thing, man. It's all about how you look at it. Okay. So let's talk about when you, the day when you got the audition for Ruthless. Do you remember where you were? I don't know if you can. What were you doing that time? Was it an email? Was it a call from the agent? What was it? Was it a C-mail? What was it?
It was a text first from my agent, right? I was hanging out with a friend of mine from like high school. I had teen years.
Wait, are you in New York? New York. Okay. Yeah.
Now I'm in Atlanta, but I was in New York then.
Okay.
And oh my gosh, it was a very peculiar time in my life. I just broken up with a woman that I was with for 6 years. You know what I mean? We were still living together. Like it was, I was working 4 catering jobs and a moving job Like I was stretching myself thin to pay my rent, and slowly getting beaten up by how difficult New York City can be. Um, and I get the text from my agent, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, check your email and sorry." And I'm like, "Sorry." I looked at the email. Oh snap, we got an audition. That's what's up. I'm excited. I'm excited. Um, why sorry? He was like, "You see what it says, right?" He said sorry because the role description said, must be okay with same-sex scenes and full frontal nudity. I was like, I do not care about that. You are saying sorry to the wrong one. This is the perfect thing for me to be, because I'm a little bit of an exhibitionist. I can't help it. I want to see what kind of situations I might find myself in this game, because outside of acting, I wouldn't do any of this stuff. So the only place that I would do some of this stuff is in the world of acting, because it's not real and I don't have to worry about consequences and identity crises. So he sent me that email, and I'm with my friends, like 9 o'clock. I'm like, oh, wow, I gotta go. I'm not hanging out no more. Everything needs to stop when an opportunity for acting happens. You cannot put anything in front of this career if you want to have success. If you can and you have success, you're a diamond in the rough, because to me, that's rare. Because seriously, the only way you can sustain a career in this game is if you are willing to sacrifice everything for this game. That's how much of you is necessary to do the job right and to show up, right?
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh. So the whole process, my goodness, I get the material. I'm like, oh, this is juicy. What? This is Tyler Perry? What? What? Same-sex scenes? What? Nudity? What? Tyler Perry doesn't do all this crazy stuff. I was like, oh, well, I guess we're gonna see who we can be. I made the mistake of using my ex-girlfriend as my reader. So for the first time I read, I did the, oh my gosh, I ended up doing two takes for this audition. I did it with her, and we were going through all this crazy stuff, and it was just one of the worst auditions I've ever did. It was a self-tape.
Okay, yeah.
I sent it to my agent, right? And he was like, bro, what's this? And I'm like, I'm so sorry, this, that, and the third, give him all these stupid excuses. He was like, no, what'd you call it? We have until 3 o'clock to turn this in. Come to my office today. I'm gonna coach you through it. You find someone to read with you, and we're gonna bang this out. And I was like, bang, okay, cool. I was on my job. I was on my moving job, moving like 2 people into their new spaces, right? It was like maybe, I don't know, 1 o'clock when I finally was done. And he was like, listen, I know it may be late. I'm going to say I sent up the wrong tape. We're going to find a way to make this work. I was like, bet. Flew over to his office with I paid my coworker to come to be my reader. We worked it at his office. I ran home to Brooklyn to meet my other friend to help me retape it, because I was like, I'm not making the same mistake using my ex to do this thing. This is, you don't mix business and pleasure and love. You do not do that. I know this now. Oh my gosh, some of the best work I ever did on a self-tape. Like the freedom I had, because my agent gave me the permission, which I should have just taken in the first place. But some of us actors need that permission from someone. If you can find a way to give it to yourself, please do that. Give yourself permission. It's your game. Give yourself, especially in a self-tape position where it's your world to create. You're literally creating a short film. That's how you should look at it. Knocked it out the park, sent it in to him. And it was funny. It was the same day I was moving out of my ex's apartment. So the 28th of October of last year, this is when this happened. I moved out to this new sublet in Brooklyn. I'm like, the best audition I ever did. I felt great about it. I'm what you call it? I'm celebrating with my brother and my other buddy who helped me move into the space, and then went back to work the next day. You know what I mean? Oh my gosh.
So
whirlwind.
Let's back up a bit. Obviously, first of all, you have a great agent. Let's just start with there, because that agent, you know what I mean? He or she. He, yeah. He was smart enough to make up reasons to why the tape is late. I love it. I love that kind of work. You got to have that in.
Yeah.
And so you got coaching, right? You had to retape it because it had to be that good. You can't mess it up with the series regular audition. And you felt free. So it was just a soft tape, right? You sent it in, and you felt free. Yeah, you felt free. You felt like you did your best work. All right. Now, how many days go by before did you have a call back? Did you, what happened right after that? How many days go by? What were you doing when you did get the message or call?
It was 3 days later, Halloween. Off that one self-tape, I booked a series regular. And I feel like it's because of timing, because they started shooting the very following Wednesday, right? I know they were looking for this character for months at that point. I happened to be exactly what they were looking for, I feel like. And also, thank goodness, Tyler Perry takes chances on unknown underdogs, right? Because otherwise, he could have had a name do this role, because, it's a big freaking part of the story. So Wednesday, was it Wednesday or Thursday? I think it was Thursday that the call came in. But mind you, my agent was like, okay, you knocked the first scene out, but the second scene I feel like could be stronger. So let's retape it and get a better version. So for the next following 3 days, I was retaping my second scene, right? I never got a chance to send it in because in the process of taping it for the third time, he calls me up like, what are you doing? I'm like, about to tape the tape again. What do you mean, what am I doing? He was like, no, stop, quit that. That's fine. I was like, what do you mean it's fine? He was like, you got it. I'm like, I threw my phone across the room. I'm like, no way. Screaming at the top of my lungs. Mind you, I was at my ex-girlfriend's apartment, helping her with a self-tape before I was gonna tape again. And I just looked at her like, I've been freed. This is out of control. Like, wow. What? I thought my life was falling apart. This is crazy. Crazy. Oh my gosh, crazy. Wow. I still had to work. I had a cater shift that night. I had a moving shift the next day. They were gonna fly me out that weekend. I was told I was gonna be in 8 episodes and paid for 12. Ended up being in all 24 episodes of the first season. I'm like, what the freak? What? So it's just like, here's another set of legs for life, Lenny. The universe just hooked me up. And the least I could have done was show up and busted my ass to make it at least good, if not great. Wow. Yeah. Whirlwind. 6 days after being cast, dude, I had to be on set. They flew me out to Atlanta. And it was a scramble trying to get my lines down first and foremost. Set up as S Corp so I don't have to get taxed out of my behind and have more health benefits. Set up living, a space to live during the time of shooting. I didn't have a chance to breathe like the entire time I was doing the first season. It was
so fast,
unfreaking believable. Yeah.
So when the best so when everything happened so fast, it seems like, my gosh, I mean, you have to fly out right away. It was just one tape and then boom, and then you have to leave your job. And mind you, you got to fly to Atlanta, right? It's not in the same location in New York. So I know you can't disclose contract details and stuff, but I just want to know your reaction in terms of when you did see what you're being offered and you said, whatever, what is it, 18 episodes? And then they changed it to
24.
24.
No, it was 8. It was 8 episodes. And then I'm on every script, so that's 24.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how'd you get? I don't understand how they were like, well, yeah, we're gonna do at least 8 with you in it. And maybe that's just like them playing, like maybe you'll suck. So if you suck, we'll cover our behinds by only having you in a few episodes and we'll just kill you off. Something weird. But I was like, you're not killing me off. Don't get it twisted.
Love it. So what was your reaction though when you saw the contract? Because why I'm asking you is this, because your first series regular at the end of the day, first series regular booking, the contract's different, the experience is different. It's not like your co-star booking, you know how much you're going to get paid for the day, you know the contract, you know the guest star, whatever, right? Well, it was different. So what did you think when you saw when you saw the contract? How different was it? Was it complicated?
First of all, I've never seen this kind of money. Never seen this kind of money coming towards me. So I was like, someone's gonna pinch me and I'm gonna wake up in Brooklyn. I could not get that feeling out of my system. I'm like, this isn't happening. I don't believe it. Someone's lying. This is like almost that weird actor thing we do, like we don't deserve, like we haven't been putting in the work. You know what I mean? Like we haven't been dedicating our lives to this thing. Like it's an imposter syndrome symptom that I'd rather never feel again, but I was going through it at the time. I saw the contract, and I was, in fact, my agent so graciously negotiated more money because of the nudity. So I'm like, oh, I get more per episode because of that. And I'm like, the wins just kept coming. It was like, all right, I'm clearly in a winning season. I cannot take this for granted. And Tyler shoots incredibly fast. We shot 24 episodes in 12 days, hour-long episodes. That's impossible, right? Impossible. Typical TV shows cost like what, $3 to $7 million to make a season, right? 10 to 13 episodes, maybe 22, depending on the network. And they stretched that out over like 6 to 8 months. Tyler did 24 episodes in freaking 12 days. Why? Because he has 3 cameras running at once. Because he has every location built on his compound. Because he has come up with a methodology that is so seamless that the biggest thing that he has to worry about, it seems, is making sure that his crew can keep up with him. So yeah, it was just a whirlwind, dude. And that contract made me feel like, okay, I may never have to work another survival job again in my life.
Yeah.
I can actually pour into this thing that I've given myself entirely to 120% now.
I want a little bit details about, because I want to, I'm getting excited as you talk about it. So you're flying. So you fly. Do they put you in a hotel at the beginning? What was the deal? So when you fly, yeah.
They gave me a relocation check. So they left that off to me, right? So which is the per diem, whatnot. So when I flew in, I went on Hotel Tonight and just booked a room for the night so I could figure out exactly what was going to happen. They flew me first class. First time I ever flew first class. Anytime now it's official, and this is so bougie, but I don't care. Anytime I fly first class, I'm having champagne. I don't care what time of day it is, because that's a celebration. Okay, seriously. I wish everyone gets that in their career, where it's flying on someone else's dime in first class. Yeah. Why? It's not. It's just, I'm sitting next to some rich British guy doing whatever, his taxes or something, looking over all the lines I have to learn. Like, this is my life right now. What is happening? What you call it? So yeah, Hotel Tonight for the first night. Then I speak with Mr. Swinton, who pretty much signed or pretty much hired me. And he's like, so where are you staying in Center Third? He puts me in a hotel for a week, so I have a chance to set myself up, start learning my lines, because it's at this point, it's like 4 days out before we start shooting. He was like, what? You don't have a place? What? You don't have the line? What? You don't have a script? I was like, I don't know what's happening. He was like, okay, look, we're gonna put you in this hotel, and then in the following week, you can figure out where you're gonna be. I'm like, cool, perfect. Got me an Airbnb set up, put me in this really, really dope hotel that had a full kitchen, and it was. I feel like it was a fairy tale, bro. It was a fairy tale. And the caveat of all of it is my castmates. Because we embrace each other like we've done this before. We embrace each other like we've been in each other's lives. Like this, we were called to do this thing. And we took care of each other in a way that was the only reason why the show was a success. And it should show up on TV every time you watch it. Because we oh my gosh, especially with the subject matter, like you need people to care. We need to lean on each other, hard body. And we did exactly that. So yeah, man. Wow. Oh my gosh.
This is, yeah. I'm so glad you talked about some specific details on the fly with the champagne. I might caption this whole video with like, champagne on a first class. Gosh, this is exactly what I wanted to hear. These little details people don't share, people should share, because it's a motivating thing, and it's
yeah. And it's not just for you. If this life is just for you, you are missing out on a lot of great stuff. You're missing out on the majority of the great stuff. Seriously, I think for our family and ancestors have put us in a position where less is more as far as sharing, but we're in the information age where more is more, right? Yeah. Especially when in situations like this where the information I'm sharing could free somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like they could, oh, connective tissue. Wait a second. Oh, that's what you can get. Oh, I'd rather open someone's eyes and keep them in the dark. You know what I mean? Because no one can destroy what's here but me. And that's for damn sure. Okay.
So I want to quickly touch up on your first day on set. Because obviously
Yeah.
24 episodes, you've been there. I mean, lots of stories, I'm sure. You know, we can keep like talking about it for like days about those stories. But
Yeah.
what the first day on set? Because now you're stepping on as a series regular, man. You know, tell me how different was it? Because you've been on set as a co-star for a day, maybe for a couple of days, a guest star. How different was it being on set in terms of the trailer, in terms of, I don't know, man, fitting, you know, how you were treated, how everything was just being on set?
People at Tyler Perry's production studio are some of the most beautiful people I've ever met in my life. Like it felt like I was doing a project with my family from the jump. I'm like, people are, why is everyone so nice? I'm weirded out by people being nice because I come from New York and you have to keep yourself guarded to protect yourself, right? So you're not gonna get niceties. You're not, right? Not often. It's very rare. But I specifically come from a place of niceties. I'd rather start there than make someone pay for how terrible I may or may not feel. Like that's no one else's problem but mine. So I'm not gonna give you my behind the kiss. I'm gonna give you my light because that's what you deserve. You don't deserve my ass. You don't. So I got nothing but nice. I was like, what? It blew my mind. So I was like, you know what, just flow. Find a way to flow. There's a niche for you in every space you come into, and it's clear you're here for a reason. So show up and be of service. Fitting was amazing. I'm like, oh, this is what I'm wearing. Okay, this is interesting. Okay, great. The first day on set, I was terrified. Oh my gosh, because at this point I hadn't met Mr. Perry. I hadn't met him until the first time I met him was in the middle of my scene. He's directing every episode. He wrote every episode, producing everything. Like he is such a mastermind. It's ridiculous. I remember because he does it like a morning prayer right before we get started every time. And I remember catching eyes with him and it was like a lightning bolt just struck my spine. I was like, oh, what's up? There we go. It's cool. I just gave him a little nod and then I went about my business. But I was like, yo, I just made eye contact with Mr. Perry and I'm not sure. I'm not sure how he feels about me yet. I don't know what's going on. All right. But I was like, I don't care. I'm here to do a job. Let me bust this job down. First scene, I said the name of the cult wrong. And he makes fun of me. He was like, it's Rakadushi. You don't know the name of your own damn cult? I was like, you're right. The whole crew starts rolling. I'm like, all right, well, way to be Lenny Thomas in this situation. I am always the person to put his foot in his mouth before anyone else. I'm the first person to humiliate themselves anywhere I go. And I'll take it if it loosens people up. But it's not on purpose. But it's just who I am, apparently. And from then on, I was like, okay, cool. I can mess up. And he doesn't cut. He has 3 cameras rolling at one time. If you mess up a line, bring it back and go ahead and continue from where, you know what I mean? Boom. I'm like, what? How does that? I'm so not used to how you do things. But it feels like theater. It feels like when you mess up on a dress rehearsal and you're in the moment, you're like, line, whoever's the script supervisor will tell you what the line is, and then you'll pick up right where you left off, right? That's how Tyler runs his stuff. Yeah. Crazy. So, but know your lines, right?
Yeah.
Because a second is like, it's costing him $1. It's costing him a lot of money. Every second costs him money. So, and that's how his mind operates when he's doing that director thing. So, I don't know, somehow I was able to memorize verbatim like 90 to 95% of my lines, and I have so many lines. I mean, I'm in every episode. I'm in everyone's business. The majority, it seems like the show is based more around Daikon than it is around Ruth, who's the lead of the show. With the second half coming out, I think it's going to change some. But for the most part, it's like people kept hitting me up like, dude, is this show about you or Ruth? I'm like, ask Mr. Perry. I have no idea. I'm just here to do a job. That's awesome though. And then from then on, I was like, wait a second, I got this.
Yeah.
I'm right where I need to be.
Yeah. Okay. Wow, I love it. First day on set, messing up, getting used to the whole, you know how they work fast paced and it's okay to mess up and it's okay to just be prepped and go at it. And then, so obviously over the period of time, you got close, with, with everybody. And um, I just want to know, like, you know, when did you feel like, all right, this, every day I come to work, from my Airbnb, every day I'm working now. Every day I'm working now. I'm being on set because that's something. I mean, I'm dreaming of. A lot of actors are dreaming of because they don't want to. We all go to other side jobs every day, but we want to go to set. I don't mind going to set every day at 5 a.m. I won't complain one bit.
Yeah.
But I will complain about a side job going at 5 a.m. Because that's not what you want to do, right?
Exactly.
So when did it hit you? How many days into it, like when you felt like, oh yeah, it's my life, it's how it is. I'm sure there was a little bit of a shift in your mindset, which is a good thing because now you've completely become a series regular actor. That's it. That's who you are now. Your new life. So.
It was the second week, maybe halfway through the second week of us filming, because there was a controlled chaos going on, right? Where most sets it's hurry up and wait. With Mr. Perry, like he'll roll through 3 scenes and not cut once. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes the scenes won't even be continuous or on the shooting schedule, right? Our sides per day were like 110 pages, about this thick, every single day. So my sides were in my hand all day until we wrapped. We never went over 12 hours somehow, and somehow still were able to get what we got, right? It's the magic of shooting with so many cameras and moving the way he does. It's ridiculous. So I'd say halfway through the shoot on day 6, it was like, I'm really here. This is my life. This is exactly, I worked all these years for this, right? Yeah. And I've never been so right and ready for what's happening right now. What's crazy though is when you get deep into a project, no matter what the project is, you're going to get exhausted, right? No matter, like, if you love to do something, you're going to get exhausted. You have to constantly check in with yourself. I meditate a lot, pretty much every day. I'm heavy on affirmations. I'm heavy on intent, right? And feeling what my intention would feel like, right? Going through the emotions of it before it even happens. And I think that's a giant part of manifesting stuff. So there was a point where I started getting exhausted because I'm like, we're doing all these pages, my brain's fried, I don't know how I'm supposed to blah, blah, blah. And I would just check in with me, wait a second, don't forget who you are, don't forget where you are and what you want. Yeah, it's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to cost you something. This is what you have been dying to do. So yeah, be tired and do it anyway. You know what I mean? Still be that light. Give everyone love. Don't allow your exhaustion to cloud who you are trying to create yourself as. And I, had those reminders, right? Because you're no matter what the job is and how much you love it, you're human. You're gonna have these moments where you're like, oh man, I just want to chill. I just want to not do anything today. I just want to no, it's not time. You're gonna wrap in a week. Shut up. Let's get to work. You can complain later. You can be exhausted later. Right now, people are relying on you. And if you can't do it for yourself, do it for your people. And that you can do anything from that place. I promise you, anything. It's ridiculous.
So now, obviously, you're a series regular. It's official, and you're shooting, and you're busy in Atlanta. What did anything change? Because now you have that under credit. Did anyone come into your life in terms of new managers approaching you, agents approaching you, or any direct offers, or did the auditions, like regular auditions, just pop out of nowhere because of the credit? What changed? How life changed in terms of acting? Yeah.
In terms of acting, unfortunately, I'm no longer with that agent. And it's because I grew bigger and faster than he was able to keep up with. And also then the pandemic came, he moved out of the country and was doing stuff remotely. And it was just like, whoa, our agreement can no longer be upheld, right? So up until recently, I had 3 auditions all year. You know what I mean? Which is that thing I said before. If your agent is not getting you auditions, you don't have an agent. You know what I mean? And it was heartbreaking because, like, I love him. I love what we did together. We were doing audition technique classes together. Like he was helping me build my mind around how to handle press, how to handle this. Like he put me onto the accountant that set up my S corp. Like he was my partner. But
Yeah.
the bottom line in an actor's career is getting seen and upward mobility. If who your business partner is cannot do their part of the job, which is to get you auditions, that's 90% of an agent's job, I'd say, get you auditions, then I'm, I'm being shortchanged out of what I can do in this industry, right? So it was a hard thing. I had to leave. And it's funny, as soon as I left, Buckwald came knocking on my door, who represents the highest on the show, Matt Cedeno. And Luber Roken Entertainment came knocking on my door. I'm like, wait a second, I'm being sought after by these big conglomerates now. Amazing.
So they came to you, right?
Yeah, Buckwald. I went to Buckwald, but Luber came to me. Luber found me, I guess through IMDB, and was like, "Hey, we want to meet." I just happened to be in LA, so I was like, "Let's meet." And now I'm with both of them, and out the gate, like 4 auditions in one day. I'm like, "What?" I went from 3 auditions all year to 4 in one day. This is exactly what I wanted and needed. Manifesting. But as far as roles. The majority of the work I did before I even got reps was through the connections I made, right? My classmates who were filmmakers, the friends that I made on those sets, the people I brought into my life or who were brought into my life got me more jobs, right? Work begets work. Your job is to show up and bust it down as best as you can and make a bunch of fans and friends along the way and share light and love. Because I'm only here because of people placing me up to the next space. I didn't do this by myself. This was a team effort. I'm standing on the shoulders of so many people. The least I can do is pay it forward. And those are the roles this year specifically that were kind of like coming at me, offer only situations. But because of pandemic, couldn't do some. And because of like where I am, I'm like, I can't just do anything anymore. Before it was quantity, now it's quality, right? Yeah. Before it was like, I wanted as many credits as possible. As long as even if the project was just like, okay, I'd still do it because first of all, I love this person. And second of all, we can shine together. And third of all, who knows what it can become through us collaborating, right? But now it's like, I can't do as much and quality is king now. So I'm curious to see if I can get these big name people to come through with offer only soon. I want my agent was like, I want the phone to be ringing because people want to offer you stuff. I don't want to have to keep making the phone calls, but that's where we are right now, and we'll get there. I was like, see, you're speaking my language right now, buddy. But yeah,
it's gonna happen, man. Yeah.
I can't even. That just blows my mind. This is the conversations we're having right now.
It's gonna happen. I mean, I love it. Yeah, I love. Yeah, I love how you said, because I've been curious, and then I got the answers for it by you today. After a series regular, what happens to a person? What really happens? Yeah. Of course, some people say my life is set. It is. I mean, it's much better than before, but again, you still got to work hard. You still have to. Yeah, it's not set exactly. It's never set exactly. But of course, things do change, right? It does change, and it changes for everybody. Everybody's different, So I'm glad like you're getting some direct offers. I'm glad you got the new reps repping you.
Thanks, man.
And obviously more to come. Let's wrap it. Let's wrap it with this. All right.
Okay.
Let's wrap it with big advice can you give to an actor? I want to make it more realistic, right? I don't want to talk about, you can give him advice to a beginning actor, but also I want to really focus on the actors who have booked already a bunch of co-stars, a bunch of guest stars, because they're the ones who are really realistically going for the series regulars, right? They're going to get the audition, but you never know. But again, what do they need to do? Because is it something to do with their materials, something to do with their reps, something to do with relationship with casting directors? Any specific details you want to like share, advice for them to book one, like me booking their first series regular?
Stay ready, right? And could be simplified, but like make sure that you know the game. get books like this, that you learn the business, that you learn how to brand yourself. You know what it is you have to offer. And if you don't know, ask the closest people to you, to like the first impressions of you and how you show up in their lives. Like brutal honesty. Get used to being uncomfortable, because that's your life. You're gonna have to be uncomfortable a lot. Get used to throwing yourself in the mix and making a fool of yourself sometimes, because you learn the most from the, unfortunately but fortunately, from the pain of making a mistake or being vulnerable, right? Staying ready also is like, you have your checklist is always going to be growing. You know what I mean? As long as you have like maybe the first 10 things in line, the other ones won't matter as much, but the other ones will give you an edge, right? So for example, headshots that look like you, your resume is up to date, you're on all the acting, websites that have you available to procure work. You're doing things like on one-on-one or Actors Connection, where you're doing meetings or workshops with casting directors so that you can establish some kind of relationship with them and they can see your work. But don't just do any casting director. Go to the ones that do shows that you can see yourself on. Target these shows, right? Watch these shows. See the actors that are on the shows and who represents them, right? And see if they have anyone who looks like you on their roster. If they don't, keep them in mind, because maybe you can submit something to them and say, hey, I see you have no one on your roster. It looks like me, and here's what I have to offer. Boom. Always, always, always be working towards acting every single day. You cannot take a day off, even Sunday. You know, even if it's a tiny, it's a one little thing. That one little thing will give you an edge. Baby steps can create a gigantic staircase, you know, eventually. And that's literally what I've been doing. Boom, 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 leap, boom, 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 leap, right? Do manifesting situations. Let me see if you can see that. It says this is the 5-minute journal. Every single day I'm writing in this thing. I start my day off with an affirmation or a couple of affirmations, you know, what I'm grateful for, sitting in the thoughts of gratitude, letting it go through my body emotionally, and then answer three things that would make today great, right? So then you get to write out your day. And even if, then you don't look at it for the rest of the day. Go out and do your day. When you come back at nighttime, write in it, what are some amazing things that happened today and what could have made today even better. Then you could look back, hey, I did 3 of the things that I said I wanted to do. And that's a win. That's a win. If you keep stacking tiny wins, next thing you know, you're flying, right?
Yeah.
Also keep learning the business and get phenomenal at self-taping. Right now, we don't have to go into offices, and I could not stand going into offices. Like, auditioning in person was never my strong suit. But you give me a self-tape, I'm a filmmaker. I'm gonna make some wild choices. I'm gonna keep your attention. That's like your job as an actor, is to essentially be a party starter at any given time. You can't shy away from this, you know what I mean? Unless you're lucky, unless you have nepotism working on your side or legacy working on your side, you have to make yourself into the party starter. Not abrasively, but definitely, like, you gotta be live. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be someone who others want to be around. And keep it humble at the same time. You know what I mean? There's so many layers and levels. The game is gray. There's no black and white way to do this. But if you just dance in that gray area, like, there's a place for you. There's no way you can't be denied, as long as you're focusing on getting better. Stay in class also, in some kind of technique class or scene study class. You gotta pound on your acting muscles, like with exercise. Like, you're not going to get stronger if you don't exercise. You're not going to lose weight if you don't exercise. And this is, so the training with a teacher is exercise. And then this is the nutrition. You know what I mean? Learn the game. You know what I mean? Doing the manifesting. This is the nutrition side, which is 80% of fitness, is what you're putting into your body. So what are you putting into your mind? 80% of what you want out of your life is what you're reinforcing, and you're reinforcing with your thoughts. And just know beyond knowing that your time is coming. It doesn't matter how long it takes. It might happen way sooner than you expect, but stay humble and focused. And oh my gosh, I'll see you on set, for real. Let's get to work.
Dude, well said. You know, there's a reason why it's a long answer. You know, I want to mention it because, again, people think, you know, I asked for a specific reason, but I never get it, especially when it comes to a series regular. Why? Because it's a series regular, guys. It changes your life. It's a big deal. You know, they don't just pick you out of like for one reason. They pick you for many reasons, and you're the right person for the job. And that's why you made it very clear. You listed out 10 different reasons, but that's what it takes. to be a series
Yeah.
regular actor. Maybe for a co-star, we can talk about maybe like bring it down a little bit, sure. But for a series regular, like everything you said in terms of manifestation, visualization,
Yeah.
I'm looking at myself right now. That's exactly what I do. Not really talk about what you don't have. Talk about act like you already got it. Live like you already
Yes.
have it. Stop
Yes.
talking about I don't have this, I don't have that. It's negative energy, negative affirmation.
Exactly.
And these little things, like you said, nutrition. I love it the way you said it, nutrition, because they make a huge difference. People, you can be a talented actor, but if you're not, positive in your mind, if you're not forming, there's no point. You could be a better actor than me, but I could be booking jobs because I am in the right frame of mind. I'm not being negative.
Yes.
So being a smart actor, being a good, talented actor, working on your goals. I mean, you said it all. That's what it takes. I want to thank you for sharing your story because I'm very glad because you gave a lot of details, which is man, I want to rewatch it a few times because it motivates me. That's exactly why I do this. That's exactly what I want. And I tell people the same thing of my experience. Talk about the good things, guys. Talk about a lot of good things. There's a lot of people always talk about how acting is hard. We all know that. We get it.
Yeah, life is hard. So
see, that's another affirmation I don't want to hear. When someone's going to ask me, let's just say I didn't book anything for the whole year, right?
Yeah.
0 bookings, and someone's going to ask me at the end of the year, hey, how was your year? I'm like, fucking great. Because guess what? First of all, I don't have to explain to you how acting works because that's another thing for non-actors. And I don't want to tell you, I don't want any sympathy, because a lot of actors want the credit, I have harder life than you. You don't get it. Let's not even put that out there. Let's not keep reinforcing. Yeah. What's the point? It's only going to make you feel like, you're going to only stay there. Exactly.
Yeah.
Act like.
And yet we're all going through hardships. Like that's part of life, right? But we get to pursue this thing that like wakes us up in the morning. Like your heart is just like when you think about it, you get excited. When you see a good play, when you see a good TV show, movie, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so in the right place.